Covered before, Kristina Keneally.
I'm going to take a slightly different view of what the gospel says. Yes, I agree with you. Jesus' preaching is about replacing, the old law with the new. His new commandment was to love one another as I have loved you, that there is no greater gift than to lay down your life for another person. Now, when you have two people of the same sex in a mutually giving, respecting relationship, how is that not characterized in the way that Jesus taught us to love one another? And when you have two people in a same-sex relationship who choose to foster a child or who choose to adopt a child, and they're giving of themselves to that child, how is that not living out what Jesus taught us to do, which is to love one another as he has loved us and to lay down our lives for one another? Now, this whole argument about homosexual orientation and homosexual activity frankly drives me spare. I mean, the Catholic Church's teaching on this is quite confused, in my view. It says it's okay to be homosexual orientation as long as you don't act on it. I honestly cannot get my mind around that.
Kristina, could I take up your very point? And that is, Christ also stood a child up, in front of everybody and said, "These are the most precious of my kingdom," or words to that effect.
Okay.
Now, the reality is we should be making sure public policy addresses the needs and the rights of that child, not adults.
Okay, briefly, I'm going to hear from the...
No, I'm sorry, there are desperate children. There are desperate children who cannot live for a variety of reasons with their own parents. We are desperately short of foster parents. Sometimes the only people who step up and take that child that Jesus held up and said, "the first of my kingdom," sometimes the only people that take them are homosexual couples. And until very recently in New South Wales, we denied those children the right to be adopted by the only parents they'd ever known and who loved them unconditionally. I find that remarkable situation, and
incidentally deny those parents the right to be married.
Absolutely.
Which, have you ever had this conversation with Julia Gillard?
Well, can I just come to a point here? And this sort of goes to something you said earlier about bringing the personal views into it. We have an atheist prime minister, a Catholic leader of the opposition, and yet they seem to have the same view about gay marriage. They've come to the same point that marriage is between a man and a woman. I'm Catholic. I don't agree with either of them. And I've got to say, let's have that debate about gay marriage. Let's bring it on.